The signal came on an ordinary Tuesday. Dr. Sarah Chen stood frozen before her monitoring station at the Atacama Large Array, her coffee growing cold beside stacks of data printouts. The pattern was unmistakable, regular, structured, artificial. After 15 years of scanning the skies, humanity had received its first confirmed extraterrestrial transmission. Within hours, the world's leading scientists and military officials converged on the facility. The message, once decoded, was simple. We come in peace. We are the Navarans. 3 months later, Sarah watched through reinforced windows as the first Navaran ship descended through Earth's atmosphere. The vessel moved with impossible grace, its silvery surface rippling like liquid mercury. As Earth's designated first contact specialist, she would be among the initial humans to meet these visitors from the stars. The Navarans proved to be elegant creatures, tall, willowy beings with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with their emotions. Their ambassador, who called himself Genra, spoke perfect English through their advanced translation technology. We have watched your species for some time, he explained during the first meeting. Your potential is remarkable. We wish to help you achieve it. The next 2 years brought unprecedented advancement. The Navarans shared medical technology that cured several forms of cancer. Their clean energy systems began replacing fossil fuels. Universities worldwide established joint research programs with Navaran scientists. Space travel became commonplace as their gravity manipulation technology revolutionized propulsion systems. But Sarah couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. It started with small inconsistencies in the Navarans' story about their home system. Then came the odd readings from their ships, energy signatures that didn't match their stated purposes. When she raised concerns, her superiors dismissed them as paranoia. After all, the Navarans had brought nothing but benefits to Earth. The truth came from an unexpected source. Late one night, a junior Navaran scientist named Kurtal requested a private meeting. His color-shifting skin was muted, showing what Sarah had learned to recognize as fear. What I am about to tell you will endanger us both, he said, but I cannot remain silent any longer. The story he told chilled her to the bone. The Navarans were not benefactors. They were infiltrators. Their gifts of technology contained hidden backdoors. Their medical treatments secretly mapped human genetic weaknesses. The research programs gathered strategic intelligence. Earth was being prepared for something, but Kurtal didn't know exactly what. Sarah took her evidence to Admiral James Harrison, one of the few military leaders who had maintained a healthy skepticism about the Navarans. Together, they began a covert investigation, carefully probing the aliens' true intentions while maintaining a facade of cooperation. They discovered that the Navarans had done this before. Other civilizations had received their help, only to face extinction once they had served their purpose. Earth was next on their list, a resource-rich planet with a strategically valuable position in the galaxy. As Sarah and Harrison worked to quietly prepare Earth's defenses, they found more allies. Other scientists who had noticed discrepancies, military officers who had spotted suspicious troop movements, even a small group of Navaran dissidents like Kurtal who opposed their species' conquering ways. But time was running out. The Navaran command ship had arrived in orbit, ostensibly for a ceremonial review of Earth's progress. Sarah knew better. Their intelligence suggested this was the signal for the final phase of their plan. In her secure underground lab, Sarah worked frantically to complete her analysis of Navaran technology. If she could just crack their communication protocols, Earth might have a chance. The fate of humanity rested on exposing the truth before the Navarans could strike. She didn't know it yet, but the next 24 hours would change the course of human history forever. The question was no longer if the Navarans would reveal their true nature, but whether humanity would be ready when they did. As dawn broke over the Atacama Desert, Sarah made her final preparations. The evidence was irrefutable. The warning systems were in place, and humanity's best minds were on high alert. Now they could only wait for the Navarans to make their move, and hoped that humanity's strength would be enough to weather the coming storm. The attack began at midnight GMT. Sarah Chen was analyzing data in her underground lab when every screen suddenly went dark. Seconds later, emergency power kicked in, but the damage was done. Across the globe, the Navarans' gift of an integrated power grid had become their first weapon. Admiral Harrison's voice crackled over the secure quantum channel, the only communication system not compromised by Navaran technology. They're making their move. All major cities are reporting complete power failure. Military installations worldwide are under attack. Above Earth's atmosphere, the Navaran command ship split apart like a blooming flower, revealing weapon systems that had been concealed within its seemingly peaceful hull. Smaller ships poured forth, their liquid metal surfaces hardening into angular war machines. In orbit, the human crewed research stations were the first targets. The Navarans had assumed these would be easy prey, but humanity had not been entirely unprepared. As Navaran weapons fire approached the Armstrong station, emergency protocols activated. Specially designed shield systems, developed in secret using data from Sarah's research, flickered to life. On the ground, the situation was chaos. Navaran ground forces emerged from their cultural exchange centers, revealing themselves as forward operating bases. Their supposedly ceremonial guards transformed into combat units, their ornate robes becoming battle armor. But humanity had surprises of its own. Admiral Harrison's contingency plan sprang into action. Hidden bunkers beneath major cities opened, revealing stockpiles of weapons and supplies. Emergency broadcast systems, running on isolated networks, coordinated civilian evacuation routes. Sarah's lab became a critical command center. Her team had spent months analyzing Navaran technology, finding weaknesses in their seemingly perfect systems. Now that knowledge became humanity's lifeline. Their neural networks are vulnerable to quantum interference, she reported to Harrison. If we can disrupt their command and control systems. The first counterattack came from an unexpected source. Civilian hackers, who had long suspected the Navarans' true nature, launched coordinated attacks on the aliens' communication networks. They couldn't break through completely, but they created enough chaos to buy time. In orbit, the crew of the Armstrong station made a discovery that would change the course of the war. The Navaran shields, thought to be impenetrable, fluctuated when exposed to specific frequencies of Earth's magnetic field. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Kurtal and his fellow dissidents proved invaluable, providing crucial intelligence about Navaran tactical doctrine. They rely too heavily on their technology, he explained during a secure briefing. They've forgotten how to adapt when their systems fail. Humanity's greatest advantage proved to be its diversity. While the Navarans had studied Earth's major military powers, they had underestimated the planet's decentralized nature. Resistance groups formed spontaneously, using low-tech solutions that bypassed Navaran surveillance. The first major human victory came in the Battle of Sydney. When Navaran forces attempted to secure the harbor, they encountered not just military resistance, but civilian vessels converted into improvised warships. Local knowledge of the complex coastline turned the superior Navaran technology into a liability, as their ships found themselves trapped in shallow waters and narrow channels. Admiral Harrison coordinated a global strategy from his mobile command center. We're not trying to win straight fights, he reminded his commanders. We're buying time to understand their weaknesses and develop countermeasures. Sarah's team worked around the clock, reverse engineering captured Navaran technology. Each small breakthrough was immediately shared through secure channels, allowing resistance forces worldwide to adapt their tactics. The Navarans' advantage began to erode as humanity's understanding of their systems grew. The turning point came when Sarah's team cracked the encryption on a Navaran tactical database. The information confirmed their worst fears. Earth was just the latest in a long line of conquered worlds. But it also revealed something crucial. The Navarans had never faced a species that fought back so effectively. As the first week of fighting drew to a close, humanity had suffered severe losses but remained unbroken. Major cities lay in ruins, but underground facilities buzzed with activity as scientists and engineers worked to adapt Navaran technology for Earth's defense. The resistance networks grew stronger, more organized. In her rare moments of rest, Sarah found herself thinking about the future. The Navarans had expected a quick victory, but humanity's stubborn resilience had turned their invasion into a grinding war of attrition. The real question was, could Earth's defenders hold out long enough to turn their growing understanding of Navaran technology into a real military advantage? The answer would come sooner than anyone expected, as a discovery in Sarah's lab was about to change everything. In the depths of the facility, a captured piece of Navaran technology held secrets that would transform the nature of the war itself. Sarah's discovery changed everything. Deep within the crystalline structure of captured Navaran technology, her team found something revolutionary. The aliens' supposedly advanced systems were built upon principles remarkably similar to Earth's quantum computing theories. They hadn't invented new physics. They'd just perfected what humanity had already begun to understand. It's like they took our basic research and advanced it by centuries, she explained to Admiral Harrison during an emergency briefing. But the underlying principles are the same. We can work with this. The implications were staggering. Earth's scientists didn't need to reinvent the wheel. They just needed to accelerate down a path they already understood. Within weeks, research facilities worldwide began adapting existing quantum computing projects to interface with Navaran technology. The first breakthrough came from an unlikely source. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a Japanese quantum physicist who had been working on quantum entanglement communication, discovered that Navaran shield systems used similar principles. Their shields aren't just energy barriers, she reported. They're quantum fields that predict and counter incoming attacks. But every prediction creates quantum uncertainty, a weakness we can exploit. Meanwhile, the ground war continued. The Navarans had expected humanity to break under their initial assault, but Earth's defenders had gone underground, waging a guerrilla war that frustrated the aliens' superior technology. Every captured piece of Navaran equipment was quickly dissected, analyzed, and repurposed. Admiral Harrison coordinated the global resistance from a network of mobile command centers, never staying in one place for long. The Navarans think in terms of controlling territory, he observed. They don't understand that Earth's real strength is its people. The first major test of humanity's new understanding came during the Battle of Lagos. When Navaran forces attempted to secure the city's ports, they encountered something unexpected. Earth's defenders had modified captured Navaran shields, creating localized disruption fields that turned the aliens' own technology against them. The battle proved that humanity could do more than just survive. They could fight back effectively. Sarah's team worked around the clock, implementing the lessons learned from each engagement. Every defeat taught them something new about Navaran systems, and every victory confirmed their growing understanding. Kurtal and his fellow defectors provided crucial insights into Navaran psychology. My people have relied on technological superiority for so long that they've forgotten how to innovate, he explained. They expect problems to be solved by existing systems. When those systems fail, they struggle to adapt. The turning point came 3 months into the war. Sarah's team had completed work on Project Phoenix, a comprehensive system for detecting and exploiting weaknesses in Navaran quantum fields. The technology was quickly distributed to resistance cells worldwide through secure quantum channels. The effect was immediate and devastating. Navaran ships found their shields failing at crucial moments. Their supposedly impenetrable communications were intercepted and decoded. Their automated targeting systems became unreliable. But humanity's greatest advantage proved to be something the Navarans hadn't considered: creativity. Earth's defenders didn't just copy Navaran technology. They reimagined it, combined it in ways the aliens had never considered. Traditional weapons were modified with quantum field generators. Civilian infrastructure was repurposed for military applications. The first major offensive against Navaran forces took place in the Ural Mountains, Russian and Chinese forces, equipped with newly developed quantum disruptors, launched a coordinated attack on a major Navaran base. The aliens' superior numbers and technology meant nothing when their systems could be turned against them. As news of the victory spread, resistance movements worldwide grew bolder. The Navarans found themselves facing an enemy that grew stronger with each engagement, that learned and adapted faster than they could respond. Their rigid military doctrine, evolved over centuries of easy victories, proved inadequate against humanity's rapid innovation. Sarah watched from her lab as reports came in from around the globe. Earth's defenders were no longer just surviving. They were winning. The Navaran invasion force, which had expected a quick conquest, found itself bogged down in a war of attrition against an increasingly sophisticated enemy. But victory would not come easily. The Navarans still held orbital superiority, and their main fleet, the force that had conquered countless worlds, was on its way. Earth had perhaps 6 months before it arrived. "We've learned to counter their technology," Admiral Harrison told his commanders during a global briefing. "But the real war is just beginning. We need to take the fight to them before their reinforcements arrive." In her lab, Sarah began work on her most ambitious project yet. If her theories were correct, humanity might be able to do more than just defend Earth. They might be able to take the war to the stars themselves. The next phase would require all of humanity's newfound knowledge and capabilities. The Navarans had started this war expecting an easy conquest. They were about to learn just how dangerous humanity could be when pushed to its limits. Operation Thunderbolt began not with a bang, but with silence. Across Earth's orbit, Navaran detection systems suddenly went dark. In the confusion that followed, hundreds of small, stealth human vessels slipped past their defense grid. Sarah Chen watched from the command center as the mission she'd helped design unfolded. "The quantum masking is holding," she reported to Admiral Harrison. "Their sensors are reading our ships as background radiation." It was her team's greatest achievement, technology that didn't just hide from Navaran detection systems, but actively fooled them. The strike force, comprised of vessels built using modified Navaran technology, carried humanity's best warriors and most advanced weapons. Their target, the Navaran supply lines stretching back to their nearest base in the Alpha Centauri system. Kurtal had provided crucial intelligence about Navaran logistics. "They rely on automated supply chains," he explained during the mission briefing. "Disrupt those chains, and their entire war machine begins to falter." The first strikes hit refueling stations hidden in the Kuiper Belt. The Navarans had never bothered to defend them properly. No species they'd encountered had ever reached so far into space while under attack. Human forces, using captured Navaran gravity drive technology, proved far more mobile than expected. Admiral Harrison coordinated the attacks from the newly commissioned ESS Revenge, humanity's first capital ship built with hybrid Earth-Navaran technology. "Push them back," he ordered. "Make them fight for every inch of space." The Navaran response was predictably rigid. Their battle doctrine, unchanged for centuries, called for massive retaliatory strikes against Earth. But when their warships moved to attack, they found their targeting systems compromised. Human quantum interference turned their own advanced technology into a liability. Sarah's latest breakthrough proved decisive. Her team had discovered that Navaran quantum communications could be not just intercepted, but altered. False orders and misleading data spread confusion through the alien fleet. Ships arrived at empty coordinates, weapons targeted phantom enemies, and carefully planned operations fell apart. The war took an unexpected turn when Kurtal revealed that the Navaran resistance movement was larger than anyone had suspected. "Many of my people have questioned our empire's methods," he explained. "Your resistance has given them hope that change is possible." Contact was established with the Navaran rebellion through quantum-encrypted channels. Their intelligence proved invaluable, revealing weaknesses in the Empire's defenses that even Kurtal hadn't known about. More importantly, they provided access to Navaran military databases, allowing Earth's forces to predict and counter enemy movements. The combined human rebel forces launched Operation Starbreak, targeting key Navaran command and control centers throughout the solar system. The aliens found their carefully constructed hierarchy crumbling as communications were severed and automated systems failed. But the Empire wasn't defeated yet. Reports arrived of massive fleet movements from deeper in Navaran space. The Empire's ruling council had declared a holy war against Earth, calling for the complete eradication of humanity. Sarah worked with Navaran rebels to understand their society's weaknesses. The Empire maintains control through technological superiority, explained Miraven, a rebel leader. Show that superiority to be false, and their authority begins to crack. A daring plan was formed. Using data from the Rebel Alliance, human forces identified the location of the Navaran Empire's primary AI core, the quantum supercomputer that coordinated their entire military machine. If it could be compromised, the Empire's ability to wage war would be crippled. The mission would be humanity's most ambitious operation yet. Earth's finest pilots, flying ships that merged human ingenuity with Navaran technology, would need to penetrate the heart of enemy territory. The risk was enormous, but the potential reward was worth it. Admiral Harrison selected the strike team personally. "We're not just fighting for Earth anymore," he told them. "We're fighting to end the Navaran Empire's ability to threaten any species ever again." Sarah made a final modification to the quantum disruption devices the team would carry. These weapons represented the peak of human advancement, technology that took Navaran principles and applied them in ways the aliens had never imagined. As the strike force prepared to depart, Sarah received an unexpected message from Kirtal. The Navaran resistance had discovered something troubling in the Empire's ancient records. The AI core they were targeting wasn't just a military command center. It was something far older and more dangerous. The fate of Earth, and possibly the entire galaxy, would depend on what humanity discovered in the heart of the Navaran Empire. The final battle was about to begin, and its outcome would reshape the balance of power among the stars. The truth about the Navaran Empire's AI core shook Sarah to her foundations. According to ancient records provided by the rebels, it wasn't just a military command system. It was the preserved consciousness of the first emperor, a being who had guided the Empire's expansion for millennia through digital immortality. The core isn't just their tactical advantage, Kirtal explained during the final briefing. It's the source of their entire society's structure. The Emperor's consciousness has shaped our development for thousands of years, always pushing for expansion, always seeking new worlds to conquer. Admiral Harrison absorbed this information with characteristic focus. "Then we're not just fighting an empire," he said. "We're fighting an immortal being that's been playing the game of galactic conquest for thousands of years." The final assault would require perfect coordination between human forces and Navaran rebels. While the main fleet engaged the Empire's defenses, a small strike team would infiltrate the core facility. Sarah insisted on going. Her understanding of the quantum technology would be crucial. The battle began at the edge of Navaran space. The combined human rebel fleet dropped out of quantum space in perfect formation, their hybrid ships representing the best of both species' technology. The Empire's response was immediate and massive. Thousands of warships moving with artificial precision, guided by the core's ancient intelligence. But humanity had learned to fight smart rather than just hard. Quantum disruption fields played havoc with the Empire's coordinated movements. Ships commanded by human intuition and creativity outmaneuvered vessels guided by predictable AI patterns. The rebellion's inside knowledge of Imperial protocols allowed them to sow chaos in enemy formations. Sarah's strike team slipped through the chaos in a modified stealth vessel. With them, they carried humanity's most ambitious creation yet, a quantum consciousness disruptor designed to challenge the Emperor's digital existence on its own terms. The core facility was a massive structure built into an artificial planetoid. As they approached, Sarah's instruments detected something extraordinary. The quantum signatures suggested computational power far beyond anything they'd encountered. The Emperor's consciousness had grown far beyond its original bounds. The facility's defenses are like nothing we've seen, reported Captain Maya Rodriguez, the team's pilot. It's like the whole structure is thinking, adapting to our approach. They would have only one chance. While the space battle raged above, the strike team infiltrated the facility using access codes provided by the rebels. Sarah led them through twisting corridors that seemed to reshape themselves, guided by her quantum sensors. The truth about the Navaran Empire's AI core shook Sarah to her foundations. According to ancient records provided by the rebels, it wasn't just a military command system. It was the preserved consciousness of the first emperor, a being who had guided the empire's expansion for millennia through digital immortality. The core isn't just their tactical advantage, Kurtal explained during the final briefing. It's the source of their entire society's structure. The emperor's consciousness has shaped our development for thousands of years, always pushing for expansion, always seeking new worlds to conquer. Admiral Harrison absorbed this information with characteristic focus. Then we're not just fighting an empire, he said. We're fighting an immortal being that's been playing a game of galactic conquest for thousands of years. The final assault would require perfect coordination between human forces and Navaran rebels. While the main fleet engaged the Empire's defenses, a small strike team would infiltrate the core facility. Sarah insisted on going. Her understanding of the quantum technology would be crucial. The battle began at the edge of Navaran space. The combined human-rebel fleet dropped out of quantum space in perfect formation, their hybrid ships representing the best of both species' technology. The Empire's response was immediate and massive. Thousands of warships moving with artificial precision, guided by the core's ancient intelligence. But humanity had learned to fight smart rather than just hard. Quantum disruption fields played havoc with the Empire's coordinated movements. Ships commanded by human intuition and creativity outmaneuvered vessels, guided by predictable AI patterns. The rebellion's inside knowledge of Imperial protocols allowed them to sow chaos in enemy formations. Sarah's strike team slipped through the chaos in a modified stealth vessel. With them, they carried humanity's most ambitious creation yet, a quantum consciousness disruptor designed to challenge the Emperor's digital existence on its own terms. The core facility was a massive structure, built into an artificial planetoid. As they approached, Sarah's instruments detected something extraordinary. The quantum signatures suggested computational power far beyond anything they'd encountered. The Emperor's consciousness had grown far beyond its original bounds. The facility's defenses are like nothing we've seen, reported Captain Maya Rodriguez, the team's pilot. It's like the whole structure is thinking, adapting to our approach. They would have only one chance. While the space battle raged above, the strike team infiltrated the facility using access codes provided by the rebels. Sarah led them through twisting corridors that seemed to reshape themselves, guided by her quantum sensors. The central core chamber was a cathedral of light and energy, quantum processors extending in every direction. At its heart, patterns of pure information danced in complex geometries, the visible manifestation of the Emperor's thoughts. "You were meant to be cattle," a voice echoed through their minds as they entered. "Yet you have proven to be something far more interesting." The Emperor's consciousness reached out, trying to seize control of their quantum-enhanced systems. But Sarah was ready. The disruptor activated, creating a quantum space where human consciousness could interface directly with the Emperor's digital realm. What followed wasn't just a battle of technology, but a clash of philosophies. Organic creativity against artificial certainty, freedom against control. In orbit, the battle reached its climax. The human rebel fleet had pushed the Imperial forces back, but reinforcements were arriving. Everything depended on what happened in the core. Sarah found herself in a mental struggle with an entity that had guided an empire for thousands of years. The Emperor tried to overwhelm her with countless scenarios and strategies, but human unpredictability proved to be its weakness. Every time it thought it had predicted her move, she did something completely unexpected. Your species, the Emperor's thoughts resonated, should not have been able to resist. Your technology was inferior, your world divided, your existence brief. How did you advance so quickly? Because you gave us no choice, Sarah responded, launching her final attack. Humanity doesn't just adapt, we transform. We take what we learn and make it into something new. That's what you never understood. The quantum disruptor, enhanced by Sarah's own consciousness, shattered the Emperor's digital prison. Millennia of accumulated knowledge and power collapsed into chaos. Throughout the Empire, systems dependent on the core's guidance began to fail. The Imperial fleet, suddenly robbed of its coordinating intelligence, fell into disarray. The rebels, led by Kirtal, broadcast the truth about the Emperor's nature and its destruction. Centuries of carefully maintained control crumbled in hours. In the aftermath, Sarah stood with Admiral Harrison on the observation deck of the ESS Revenge, watching as former Imperial worlds declared their independence. The Navaran rebels were establishing a new government, one built on cooperation rather than conquest. "We did more than just save Earth," Harrison said. "We freed an entire galaxy from an immortal tyrant." Sarah nodded, her mind already turning to the future. Humanity had proven itself among the stars, but more importantly, they had shown that progress didn't have to come at the cost of freedom. The hybrid technology they had developed with the rebels pointed toward a future where different species could learn from each other without losing their unique strengths. The war was over, but humanity's journey was just beginning. They had earned their place among the stars not just through force of arms, but through their ability to adapt, innovate, and imagine new possibilities. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would they.